Hi everybody, my name is Venkatesh and I'm the CEO and founder of Wall Street Strategies. I really thank you all for inviting me today to this webinar and sharing my thoughts on how exactly one should start his career and how does one find his potential. Now, the first question that always comes into one's mind is where do I start from? Now, where do I start from? We always tend to keep overthinking, I would say, and instead of overthinking we need to let that bit out and we need to just start right away. Now by start right away I mean any opportunity, any skill that you come across, anything that you feel even a little interested in, go for it. Now when you go in for that particular interest or that particular skill or that job or that opportunity, what happens is you first take a step there and then you venture into something new. Now when you venture into something new, even if it is your interest, you need to understand that it actually takes you some time to get accustomed to that particular skill set or that particular job or whatever interest is that you're looking for. Now when you take a first step and when you take an initiative, right, you would have actually made some progress in that particular skill set or job. And when you're doing it over time, let's say 1 year or 2 year, whatever it is, what happens is you actually get to know whether you are meant for that particular skill or that job, or if that is your area of interest. Now by that again I mean it's not necessary that you will excel in whatever you are interested in. That might be the case, that might not be the case. Do not get disheartened. What you need to do is, if that works for you, by if that works for you I mean you don't get tired, you start enjoying what you're doing and you actually love what you're doing and you do it with passion. So nobody needs to come and tell you, you need to do this particular task or you need to do this particular skill set. um, you just do it on your own. So you're doing it out of passion totally, which comes deep from your heart. Now if in case you get tired or in case you feel uncomfortable, you feel suffocated by doing that particular task or job or whatsoever it is, then you need to drop it right away. Now when I mean you need to drop it right away, do not think again, right? Initially you stopped overthinking and you took a step. Now you stop thinking and just stop whatever you're doing in case you feel uncomfortable and move on to the next thing that interests you, next opportunity or next skill set that comes into your mind. Go for it. Keep doing this, and at one point of time, so you will definitely get into one particular skill set or one particular job. You know, this particular job or interest or skill set, you will never want to leave at any point in your life because that never makes you tired. That doesn't get you bored, and you actually feel that you're living your dream. Now when you get this feeling, when you experience this feeling, right, that's when you continue with that particular skill or that particular interest or job or opportunity, whatever it is that you have taken up, right? But yes, in the first year or in the second year, while you're doing this over time, if you come across this feeling, then you need to stick to it and you need to build on the same thing. Now that bit is for how exactly you need to start. So it's the right way to do it is just start, don't think, go for it and keep figuring out, keep trying multiple things. Only then you will get to know what you're good at. Now what where do you start? That's the first thing that I wanted to talk about, and that's about it. Now how do you know this is what you're meant for or this is where your potential lies in? So let's say you come across multiple scenarios and then you select something wherein, in my case it is strategy. So I am very good in making strategies and in building companies. I worked with multiple companies and obviously I wasn't happy with the environment or the culture, and I was actually given random tasks and I knew that I wasn't meant for those tasks. By tasks I mean I ventured into technology, I ventured into marketing, I ventured into design, I ventured into server management, I ventured into operations, I ventured into finance, I ventured into all these industries one by one in many different companies. Now when I did that, That's when I learned that no, I'm good at strategy and I'm good at content creation. I'm good at building a company, and this is what I like to do passionately. Now, that's when I started my company, Wall Street Strategies, which is into emerging technologies and emerging marketing techniques. By emerging technology, I mean deep technology, as in blockchain, AI, machine learning, and digital marketing services. And I did start another company by the name Wall Street Studios, which was again my passion because I was a gamer back in my childhood, and I always wanted to create my own studio and make a game of my own. And yes, in Wall Street Studios, we are into animated videos, we are into 3D modeling, animation, and all that. Now, this is basically my passion, and it took me 10 years to figure this out. Right, if you add my engineering, then it's like good 15 years plus, wherein I was continuously wondering where I need to start. I started with a few internships, then I worked with different companies, then I started my own company, and then I loved building this company. I started another company. Obviously both are my area of interest, and it's something which actually interests me, and I'm doing it out of passion, and that's why I'm scaling with both my companies. Um, Now let me tell you this: how do you know? How do you find out if that is what you are meant for? The first bit is how exactly do you start and what interests you. The second bit is how do you know you are meant for that particular skill or job or task or activity or that opportunity. Now, in my case, when I started my company, I came across many people who actually started consulting me for building their companies. They started consulting me for helping them, to coach them, to mentor them, to guide them for taking their companies from point A to point B or point C or point D, whatever it is, whichever state they are. Now, when you master a particular skill set out of interest and you're doing something out of passion, right? That's when people will start noticing you, and they will come to you and they will ask you for some suggestions, recommendations, or advice, or some strategy, or maybe just some suggestions in your particular skill or that job you're doing. Now, that is when you need to understand that when you get noticed with what you're doing passionately, and people want you to help them for doing the same for their company or for their job or whatsoever it is, that's when you need to understand that yes, this is what you are meant for. Well, this is my belief, and I just wanted to share this with you, as in how you should start and how you need to identify what you're good at. When no one speaks about what you're doing, that means you're not doing a great job and you're not doing it passionately. Now, when you're doing something passionately and people see that passion and people see you're growing exponentially, people are going to come to you at the end of the day. And that's when you need to find out what your core is, and you need to start building and working on that particular core. Um, but yes, do not get disheartened whenever you're venturing into multiple skill sets, whenever you're venturing into whenever you're venturing into multiple opportunities. Yes, it might work for you, it might not work for you, and it is time taking. So you need to be persistent, and you need to be consistent, and you need to be diligent, and you need to actually hold yourself and put yourself together while you're trying, because that's the hard bit. And when you find out who you actually are and what you are meant for, then there's nothing for you to worry, because then you will do it anyways on your own. You don't need anyone to come and tell you what needs to be done. And yes, again, how exactly you you come up with identifying your potential is use all the knowledge that you have from your childhood. All that knowledge, whatever you are good at, try exploring each and everything. Do not give up on anything. It could be arts, it could be music, it could be dancing, it could be coding, it could be designing, it could be anything, right? Until and unless you venture into it, you will not know whether you're meant for it or not. And venture it to that point when you find out that this is what my passion is, or this is what my interest is. Start building on it, and when people start noticing you, they ask you for advices. There you go, that's what you're meant for. So I again thank C4 Projects and the team for inviting me and giving me their time. I hope this information has been valuable to you, and you could make the most out of it. If you need more information from me, you can obviously connect to me on LinkedIn, and you can send a mail to info at Wharf Street Strategies. That's my company, and we will definitely answer your queries, and we are here to help you and make India a better place. Thank you so much, and all the best. Stay safe. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry, there was a confusion. Usually, I get 10 to 15 minute or 20-minute slots. So I was in a. I just hurried up with whatever I was telling. I just learned that it's for an hour. So yeah, now let me give you some more information. So when I started my career, I started it in the year 2010. I started it with TCS. So now, this part of the webinar is more details into how exactly I scaled over the years, and how I kind of identified my potential. Let me go in depth. So, you might relate to some particular situation, or you might even come across some particular strategy that you might want to use. So, um, yeah. So, let's start. So in the year 2009, I hail from Oman, which is a place next to Dubai. Now, my father obviously had an employee mindset, and he always wanted to play it safe. It's not that he's not a risky person. He's a very risky person. But then when he got into his 30s, it's just because of family and circumstances that he wanted to stop risking it all. So that's with my father. But obviously, that I noticed this risk taking ability of my father, and that's why I thought that I do have that potential and skill inside me. I just need to explore it. Now, when I finished my engineering, I did it in mechanical, and at that point of time, we did have IT engineering. Now, with IT engineering, it is dual engineering that you can actually take up with your core mechanical or core course that you are doing, or core specialization. The best part about this dual degree was that it was offered in VIT at that point of time, and it was not a 5 year course. It would finish with your engineering 4 year course itself. By that I mean you will need to sacrifice your summer vacation or your winter vacation. You will need to work on. I mean, you need to give tests on Saturdays and Sundays sometime. So it was like that, but again, it was fun. Now, why I took that up is because I like multitasking, and like I said, I wanted to just venture into whatever opportunity that comes up. And when I heard this opportunity that IT dual degree is an option for you to take up, I thought I'm doing mechanical engineering, and at that point of time, I was not into implementing my education. I mean, practical stuff. So at that point, I thought if it just takes me a day before the exam to read and clear an exam, why not take an other engineering? It's just going to be a little hectic, but I'll finish it in 4 years and I'll have 2 degrees because that's what they were offering. Now, I ventured into that particular skill, and if you see right now, I have my company, Wall Street Strategies, which is built on technology, right? So, had I just stuck to mechanical engineering, right, I wouldn't have been able to build my company, because in my IT, in my information technology course, they actually taught me about C, C++, Java, OOPS, data structures, and all the languages that were relevant at that point of time. I'm talking like good 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. So at that point of time, I just ventured into information technology, and I took it as a dual degree course, obviously. So that was like a part-time course, but you can see I built my company based on that. And it's not that I ignored my core mechanical engineering that I took up. Obviously, I am building two cars. One is with VIT Pravega, and the other one is with NIT Suratkal. So I'm very much interested even in venturing into that, but unfortunately with the COVID, that had to be postponed. But no regrets, because I think Everything happens for a good reason. Now let me tell you a little about my COVID experience. So as soon as COVID struck, I thought that the business would get stopped, or I wouldn't be able to get clients, and we wouldn't be able to scale. We might have a hard time. But let me tell you something. You need to gather yourself when things are hard. When life hits you hard, that's when you showcase what your strength is. By that I mean when everything is taken away from you. I'm going to brief you a little about that as well, stepwise, because I messed up 4 times in my life, and still I'm here giving a webinar. So it's I'm safe, and I'm successful. By successful, I mean I'm content with what I'm doing. It's not monetary. Um, so the thing is, when something hits you hard, especially when life hits you hard, or when everything is taken away from you, that's when you gather yourself and you start learning. You start learning new skill sets that are relevant to the market. You start learning. You start learning maybe things that interest you. You venture into new things. You try to learn something that you have not done before. Now, why you need to do that? You need to do that only because you will find out that whatever you've been doing, even if you're content and you're successful, that's not the end of the world. You need to obviously update yourself. You always need to update yourself. You always need to venture into things that are going on in the market, and you need to give it a shot. Trust me on that. Now, what I did with my 2 months of COVID lockdown. So I was back in London and I was stuck there. Recently, I just came back to Mumbai. Now, when I was in London, so it was 2 months, and yes, I'm based in London at the moment, and that's why I was there, because my company Wall Street Strategy started there, and I was sponsored a tier one entrepreneur. Again, I'll tell you the story behind that. Now with COVID, I learned how to give myself time. I i actually learned how hygienic and how hygiene plays a very important role in one's life, and why it is important for us to be environment friendly, because it's really nice to know that you can see the mountains around you now, and you can see the Himalayas. So it actually says that we were living in such a busy life, we did not even give enough time to ourselves, and we did not know what we were actually doing. At least at this point of time, we know what is hygiene, what is being environment friendly, how does it actually impact us, right? There's not only just that, we have made ourselves stress free. We're able to give time to not only ourselves but to our family, to our friends, and we are connecting online. Even though everything is locked down and shut down, we still are connecting through technology. So this is a very good opportunity for us, where we make use of whatever we are doing. And obviously, I don't think lockdown is a solution as such, because I believe in herd immunity, and as such, we Indians are very immune to most of the, viruses or bacteria. It lasts for some time in us, and then it probably gives up, because it knows that our immunity is very good, and we are strong with whatever bacteria are out there. So my the takeaway here is that in COVID, I actually utilized my time watching a lot of marketing videos, a lot of tech stack videos, because you have a lot of technology updates, a lot of technology languages out there which are actually not being explored. So I gave it a shot. For example, I learned React. Now it's not necessary because I have a dev team, but at the same time, as a responsible CEO, I thought that it's necessary for me to know what is in the market and what exactly is different from this language that I learned 10 years ago, right? What I learned maybe with HTML and CSS, how is React different from that? Why are people using it? What is so special in it? Right, these were some things that I learned from it. Now obviously there's React Native and all, and I had scheduled I think about good 150 200 hours approximately. Now 150 200 hours which I gave, uh, I'm not saying I only watched technology stack videos. Yes, I did watch two. One is React and one is Node.js. That is to understand and help my team with whatever they're doing from my learnings. Because I think anything that you learn, if you're able to put it out there, right? If you put your content out there, someone will benefit from it, and if they benefit from it, then they're going to help others as well because they benefited from it. And money or um, knowledge and network and contacts, these are three things I believe are energy, and this energy keeps on multiplying as long as you keep sharing it. Now if you keep it with you, it's going to become stagnant, but if you keep on sharing it, if you share your network, if you share your knowledge, if you share your contacts, they will keep multiplying. And take my word on it, I am it's not I've not read I've not read something, in YouTube or in some book. I'm just telling this from my experience. Whatever I share is totally based on my experience. I'm not a person who actually goes to an event or reads a book or watches a video and says, "Oh wow, that was amazing." No, I don't do that. I implement it in my life before I start preaching it. So this is my experience. Educate yourself, learn whatever is you can capture, and then implement it, and then start sharing it. Now by doing that, obviously others will also start doing the same thing with you. When you start sharing, they will also share knowledge with you. That way your knowledge multiplies, your contacts will multiply, your even you will benefit monetarily. That is which is secondary. That comes any which ways. So this is a little about my COVID experience, where I did watch a few spiritual videos like Ramdev and Buddha, because that's again something I'm interested in. Now, yes, why I'm sharing that is because I'm a little spiritual as well, and I'm interested in that part. So I just wanted to know how exactly Buddha got to what he is, and what Ramdev got to what Ramdev did to get to where he is right now. Now they are actually interesting stories, because it's not like we think. No successful person actually just gets to the top overnight. He actually goes through a lot of hardships. He goes through a lot of steps, right? Which I mentioned earlier in my video before I stopped streaming. So you need to obviously keep venturing. You need to keep trying, and you never should stop. Whatever happens, even if everything is taken away from you, just do not stop. Try whatever you can. And when the universe knows that you're not a guy who's going to give up, because I believe the universe always tests you. It tests you with good stuff, it tests you with bad stuff. And when the universe realizes and understands that no, this guy is not going to give up, if I stop him from doing one thing, he's going to try something else. At one point of time, the universe will be convinced, and it's going to back you up. When your intentions are good, destiny cooperates. Again, this is not my quote or line. I do have my own quotes which I keep posting. This is a line which connected with me, and I took it from Ramdev series. And yes, I would really say that you should watch that series, which is really good, and it would give you a lot of insights on how you need to lead your life. Now let me get back to how the steps that I took and how I realized my potential. So in the year 2009, my father actually told me to come back to Oman, and he told me that you should join a job there, and I'll recommend it for you. Now obviously I did finish my engineering at that point of time. I was at home, and I thought that if I joined the job, my father would actually it would be a recommended job. Firstly, it's not me, it's my father's recommendation. Now my father would definitely find out at some point of time that I am a fool. I don't know why I thought of myself at that point like that. Now my father did convince me a lot, saying that you shouldn't venture into all this, and you're paid very less in TCS. So I was placed in TCS, and I did not sit for any other company. I just thought that let me join, and I wasn't interested in preparing for interviews and all that. Yes, I did join TCS, going against my father, and I did tell him that I'll just take 2 years of experience and I'll come back. Now when I joined TCS, I joined as a test analyst. I didn't understand how exactly how exactly a project works. I understood that bit, wherein clients give their requirements, and then there's a analyst who actually creates the business flow and sends it to the tester. I was a test analyst there initially when I joined. Later on, I became an assistant system engineer. Now, as a test analyst, I realized that just creating test cases and testing it, I found it very monotonous. And after a year and a half, I just felt that there is much more to life than just this. Initially, I thought that it's just about make maybe just getting a paid job and going out and building a house and then getting married and getting family and retiring. But I thought there is much more, and I definitely have something was telling me from deep inside my heart that you're not meant for this, so leave it. So at that point of time, I actually left TCS. I actually was a star performer there, and just because it was monotonous and my mind was telling me, and even my heart was telling me that this is not what I was meant for, I left it. After that, you not believe. Obviously, I'm from Oman, and it's embarrassing to share it, but I will share it because I'm very transparent. I did not know who Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam was in the year 2007. It's really bad, but yes, that's the case. I didn't know because I hailed from Oman, and that's the reason why I took up UPSC preparation. Now I took up UPSC preparation, and I learned that all the subjects that were being taught in my childhood, uh, I just mugged them up and I wrote the exams because I wanted marks. And obviously, I did top the exams, and I was in the top 5 students or top 10 students at that point of time, which I believed that was what success was. That is what success is, right? But again, that was not all of it. I realized that in UPSC they were teaching subjects like history, geography, economy, aptitude, chemistry, biology, sociology, public administration. Now all these subjects actually gave me an overview of India. And at that point of time, I was motivated by one ex IPS officer who had started his own institute. But later on I realized that after again 1.5 2 years, I realized that that's not my dream, or that's not what I was meant for. Maybe if I had become an if I cracked the exam and become an IAS, I would have left that job as well, because deep down inside my heart I said, this is not for you. You don't want to be in the government sector, and you don't want to be confined to a district. That kept haunting me, and again I left that preparation and I came back to Bangalore searching for a job. Now, yes, it was a very hard time where I actually kind of broke down. And my parents did, especially my father, did tell me that, I think you tried enough. Now you need to get back to Oman and you need to take a job. I'll help you with that. Now, at this point of time, I had no job. I lost whatever I was doing, and I was totally confused what should be my next step. But then in engineering, I had a good skill of communication. Now, by communication, I mean I could speak in different languages to different people sitting on the table, like say Telugu, Tamil, in Hindi, in English. Obviously, I knew these languages, so I used to communicate with them, and I used to change. I used to just talk to one person, and then I used to again speak to another person in a different language. Now, my friend noticed this, and he did tell me that you should definitely do some management course. MBA is the right thing for you. And I was like, no, 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 I want to learn about our country and I want to develop myself. Now, because I did that, because I took that advice of my friend who was again with me in dual degree. He's been with me always, and he's my best friend. He's right now in the US. Proud to have him as my friend. It's just the universe sent him for me, to me. Now, again, in after my UPSC preparation, obviously I didn't succeed, and I wasn't even getting a job. Now, I did remember that he told me about this thing, the communication skill that I had, and I should take up MBA. So I did join an MBA college called Doon Business School. Now, when I joined Doon Business School, I realized that in 2008 I had given CAT and I got 95.52% and I was percentile, and I was not interested in joining any top B school, and I wanted to join IM. Obviously, I joined TCS and I took up my UPSC preparation. Now, after that, when I joined Doon Business School, which is not even at that point of time, 2013, it was not at all a reputed one, and it was just some random college. And I did, bluff to my parents that I got a seat there while they were just offering a seat by making a payment. So I did pay 1 lakh and I did get into the first year. Now, when I got there, I actually felt more depressed that I couldn't achieve anything. No UPSC, I lost my job, and I didn't even get into an IM, and I'm in a very I mean, I wouldn't want to say anything bad about it, but yeah, I mean, I was in a place where I shouldn't be, I would say. So I had this feeling. Now, there was one person who did mention that it doesn't matter where you are, if you are a diamond, you will shine any which ways. So I did have this feeling inside, and what I did is fine. If this is a place which I was not supposed to be, at least let me excel in this particular college. So I did take up a lot of initiatives to conduct events, to gather people, to create motivational sessions, to teach my subjects in the first year. So I still remember in my second semester in Doon Business School, I had a room filled with people, and all of them were just listening to me. It was like as if I was giving them I felt like as if I was some saint who was actually lecturing a huge crowd. There were good like 30 people in the room, and some of them were actually standing outside my room and listening. So I really felt very good, and I thought that there is some kind of satisfaction while you share something. When you share any kind of knowledge or any piece of information, and that I've stuck to that, and I've been doing that all my life till now. Yes, after doing business school first year, I did give an exam called MAT without any preparation, and I did get around 680 out of 800. Now that test which I gave actually gave me an opportunity to go into Amity University as a lateral entry student. Now I did take that risk, and I was the only person in the whole college who did that, and people said that I was insane, and I lost it, so I didn't know what I was doing. However, I didn't listen. I'm one of a kind who doesn't listen, and I go by what my heart and mind tells me at that point. It's just instinct. Even if it's very risky, I still go for it. So I did all that, and I got into Amity University. I took up finance and operations. Now here is when I realized that what I was learning in UPSC, the economy part, that came into that actually played a very important role to my specialization. Now I took up MBA, and I knew that I wouldn't go for anything easy. By easy, I mean HR or marketing. I thought that no, I wouldn't go for those. Let me go for the ones which are tough. I went for finance, and I was confident enough to take up finance only because of the fact that finance was it was obviously a hard stream, and I thought the more harder the challenges and the more risky it is to clear those subjects. If I do it, then obviously it's going to give me better results and much bigger results. So that's the reason I took up finance, and there was operations which came up new at that point of time, so I went for it. Now you'll not believe, I just spent 4 to 5 months in Amity University. I built a community there. I started teaching finance. I started teaching operations to students over there. I created WhatsApp groups, and I started teaching them random concepts, which not random. I would say whatever was being taught in class, and whichever I understood and I felt that they didn't understand, I started sharing it to them. Now by doing that, they actually also started sharing information with me. Now, with this, let's say I am person A and there's person B and C who is in the group. Now, when A puts in a lot of effort and B and C notice it, at some point, definitely B and C will also contribute. They will also share their knowledge at some point. So, by that, what happens is at the end of the day, A, B, and C leave with knowledge gathered from A plus B plus C. So, my knowledge was A plus B plus C when I actually left that university. So it obviously increased my knowledge, and that's the reason I keep sharing all my knowledge, my stories. It's not out of any kind of marketing or anywhere where I would monetize or something of that sort. I'm really not interested in that part because I hail from a good family. And I'm doing a good job with my business. The only reason why I share such stories is that at some point of time you would be stuck in something like this. When you're stuck, like I said, you shouldn't give up. Just try maybe something that interests you at that point of time, and that would lead to something you would not even know. You would not even know what that could lead to. Now, that was exactly the case that was with me, and to be honest, I took up finance and operations, and I did excel in it. Obviously, I wasn't a guy who would get like 8 or 9 GPA. I was still in between 6 and 7.5. So but I still believed in myself, because the person who said that a diamond will shine even in a garbage bin. So I did think I was a diamond. I'm going to shine anyways. It doesn't matter. So I in just 4 months, because of my belief, I actually cleared my placement in eClerks, and I was hired as an assistant process manager. Um, Now I was into commodity settlements and transactions. Now again, I thought this is my dream job and I'm all set now. There's nothing more than this. I suffered so much. I took a beating twice, and now I'm again here, and I shouldn't give this up at any cost. But again, after 1.5 years, there were in MNCs. I just want to confess that I have nothing against them. With all due respect, um, they are more interested in just sitting in the senior management and not doing anything and just making money because they worked hard in the initial years. That is not how a leader should. That's not a quality of a leader. That's definitely not a quality of a leader. If the leader is not giving you any kind of knowledge, or if he's not kind of trying to enhance your particular skills, then he's not a leader. He's a boss, and a boss is a person who doesn't actually improvise, and he doesn't let you to improvise. So I had a kind of a very disheartened feeling towards such people, and I was very hurt that after all the efforts that I put in, this is the kind of people I need to this is the kind of people I need to report to or work under. I really felt very bad. And apart from just that, obviously if you don't listen to them, they're going to play politics, and they'll do things you don't like, and they'll just do it to annoy you because they don't have anything else to do in the company, and this is what they keep doing. I'm really sorry to say that, but this is a very big concern for Indian MNCs, and it's very pathetic. It's very pathetic, and that's the reason I took a vow to myself that I'm going to create a company where there's no politics. I'm going to ensure that there's no politics, only merit basis, and those who don't want to update themselves and they want to behave like a boss, I'm going to take them off the company. No one under my nose is going to do something which I do not want from any other Indian MNC. And that's the reason I started Wall Street Strategies. And yes, we did successfully conduct our first internship with VIT last year. I started the company 1.5 years ago. Sorry, I've just moved ahead my timeline. So after my job in eClerks, like I said, I did not like the MNC culture at all. And I'll be very honest to you, I'm telling this to you though it's live. They are pathetic. They are pathetic, and they do only politics. They don't want to grow in their life, and they're not going to let you grow. So if you are going to join them, just go get your experience and do something else of your own. Start something or do something on your own. I would definitely want all the talent in India to explore and venture into what they're good at, rather than giving into such a kind of an environment. Unless you're okay with it, that's totally your call. But obviously, this is what I wanted to say, and I've just shared it, and I'm happy for sharing it. I have no regrets. Now, I left the job again in eClerks. Now, at this point of time, my father did come back to me and say that, are you seriously out of your head? Because this is not something you should be doing. This is definitely not something you should be doing, because you're already reaching an age where you should get married, and you should stick to your job and get married. Again, I had this feeling that even if I get married and if I have this job, this is not what I'm meant for. I totally had this feeling inside me that this is definitely not what I'm meant for. Now, what I did is I left the job again, and I applied for a university in London by the name Anglia Ruskin, and I took up a supply chain operations course there, and it was offering a Bloomberg terminal. It was giving me access to the Bloomberg terminal, which was into trades and like trading, investment banking, and it was something which was again an area of my interest. Now by this. Uh, I don't know if this is stopped or what's happening. Just a minute, just give me a minute. Um, is the streaming stopped by any chance? No, I don't think the streaming is stopped. I think they can hear me. Yeah, so sorry for that. Now I joined this university. Now let me just brief you about it. Yeah, so I joined this university, and when I joined this university for supply chain management, I took it up because I did MBA in finance and operations. So now this operation bit was playing the role for me to explore supply chain management with logistics. Now with this, I learned how a product is created and how it is delivered to an end customer. By this I mean the complete process from where it starts, where an order is taken, where a particular product is created, and then how it is passed on logistics in the logistics chain from manufacturer, from raw material to manufacturer to finished product to retailer, and then it goes to a quality check, and then it goes, and then finally it reaches the consumer through a delivery, I mean outsourced delivery service, whatever. Now this process actually gave me an idea of how exactly a company works too. Now, not only just that, what I did there was I applied once I finished my course after. So I'm just back. Sorry for this. The pin actually I just disconnected because my battery went off. I didn't know, I didn't put it on charge. Yeah, so I was sharing about my supply chain management experience. Yes, I did apply for a job there, and I applied for many jobs. I didn't even get any one particular job. I did not get into any domain, anything that I tried, and what I learned from the market there is that all the skills that I've learned so far in my life and all the experience that I have doesn't make any sense to get a job in London. And they said that you need to start from scratch. Now, obviously, at that point of time, I thought everything that I did is just gone to waste. I mean, I didn't know what my next steps would be. But yes, in the meantime, I had gone to many events, and in those events, I had actually in those events I had learned a lot from many people that there's a there's a requirement for emerging technologies and content creation designs and things like this. So what I did is I started talking to every possible startup, and I started bluffing to them that I can deliver this for you, or I can deliver that to you. I can raise money, I can create content, I can handle your tech, I can handle your operations, I can do financial projections. And I started doing this. I started this in the year April 2016, and again, hard luck. With startups, it took me 6 months until one startup got back to me saying that okay, you can work with us. Now, obviously, I put in a lot for building these startups, because when I started working with these startups, good 7 startups in a span of 1 year's time. So that was my internship that I was doing, and in the 7 8 months that I gave to all these 7 startups. Obviously, I was doing a very good job in my first startup, and because of that, other startups noticed me and they asked me for their service as well. Now, because they asked me their service, I started providing them services in other domains. Now, by doing that, the best part about startup is you get an exposure to doing every single thing that's required for a company. Now, after a year, what I did is I went ahead and I filed an application saying that I'm ready to start my own company, because again, I pity startups who have actually taken advantage of me. I would say they actually made money and they thought that they have enough money and they don't need me anymore. So I felt really bad for them doing that. But again, everything is an experience, and you definitely learn from anything that happens, and life happens for you. And life is obviously, the universe knows what it has bigger plans for you, and it knows when to give you a particular thing at a particular time. So I believed in this, and I went ahead and filed an application, and I actually created a pitch deck and a business plan for my company, Wall Street Strategies, which is into emerging technologies and digital marketing solutions. Now, yes, I did start the company with a few people that I knew from my old companies. But again, that was one mistake that I did, because not everyone that I knew was totally dedicated. Some of them took advantage of me. Obviously, they just joined because they knew me and they weren't delivering what I need, so they weren't compatible. And some of them were actually wasting time, and they were kind of playing politics or being egoistic or whatsoever. Some of the qualities which I really did not want in any person or staff who's joining my company. Now that's when I took action, and I had to tell them off that, I respect whatever you are and whatever you're doing, but unfortunately, this is not how I want to build my team. So that is the reason I actually I told them off, and I had to build my company with people who are not playing politics, who are very passionate and working out of their own will, and who have a mindset of a leader and not that of an employee. So now, if you, I've obviously given you an overview of my past 15 years and how exactly I explored my skills and how I found out what I was good at. Right now, this was my topic, and I believe you have learned quite a lot. I mean, I think I'm out of time because I was just given till 1 p.m. But yes, do connect with me on LinkedIn. Do connect with me. Do connect with us on Telegram. We share a lot of information and we share a lot of insights on technology and marketing, and obviously mixed reality and video animations and all of that. So you're most welcome to join our Telegram in Wall Street Strategies and Wall Street Studios to find out more. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, and if you have any queries, you can mail to info at Wall Street Strategies. Again, I thank C4 developers team from VIT who have always who have given me this opportunity to speak today. I hope all the information that I shared can bring some change or can give some kind of solution to you in your life. If there is anything that you want to ask me or you want to connect, you can definitely mail to my company or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Provided your query is genuine, I will definitely address it. And I thank you for giving me this time and listening to me for this good 1 hour. And I hope it has been insightful to you. And if there's something that you pick up and it benefits you, then I would want you to share your experience as well with other upcoming millennials so that it would benefit them. So I thank everyone again, and have all the best for your future endeavors, and stay safe. Thank you.